Hey guys, it's Heather, the Butterfly Effect plant-based weight loss, and today is Wednesday. And rather than doing a weigh-in Wednesday, because I'm not quite ready to do that, I'm just going to give you a little update on what's going on with me. And I think it has some good morals to the story, or just some things I learned. So this morning, I had another appointment with my surgeon, and because I'm having post-op infections and just not getting better, kind of getting worse, and I can't really take antibiotics on my own anymore because I had such a bad reaction to my antibiotics when I was on them. Basically, I got swelling all over my body, and I got like my shoes, I couldn't even get my shoes on. But even the tops of my thighs, like I got swelling all over my body, and I got very itchy, a terrible itchy rash, like hives. And so anyway, they won't let me take antibiotics on my own anymore. They wanted to put me in the hospital again to get IV antibiotics. And so I was kind of prepared for that. But my appointment last week was pretty traumatic. It was different than my expectation, and it hurt so much, and I was kind of like crying and hyperventilating and literally screaming, so not a good visit. And so knowing that I had to go back this week and knowing that it was worse, I just woke up with like my first ever massive panic attack. Like I just was like, I can't go back there. I can't do it. And so what I did was, I'm really proud of myself, because one of the things that I was upset about last week is that I had asked for Emla, which is like a topical lidocaine, and then I also asked for like lidocaine shots to numb the area, and I got talked out of both of those. And so then I let them, I consented to letting them like do the procedure. It's like scalpel me in the office and open it back up and stretch it out. And so I felt really foolish for not insisting, hey, I'm not having a freaking procedure in the office with no anesthesia. And that I didn't stop them, and so I felt really foolish. Like I didn't advocate for myself. Like I didn't ask for what I needed, and when I did ask, like I just caved because I didn't want to upset anyone. And that's old Heather. That's not me anymore. That's what I used to be like just don't cause a fuss, or I'll do anything, let's just have peace. And I just didn't have the self-worth in the past to ask for what I needed and then insist on what I needed, politely, nicely. So I was, like I said, I was having a full out freak out, and I called the nurse, and I said, basically, if I don't get lidocaine for this appointment, I'm not coming. And I know that I need to go, and it was a total bluff. But I'm so glad I called, because they heard the panic in my voice, and they know that it was really serious, and they were like so nice and so accommodating. They're like, we'll give you whatever you need to make you comfortable. We're really sorry about your last visit, and again, like those people are so nice. My surgeon, and I saw a different surgeon last week because mine was in surgery. But the nurse that I worked with was like one of the nicest people I've met. Most, like I know a lot of medical people, and he just is a great nurse, and he's very empathetic. And anyway, I was so grateful. I was extremely grateful, and I did tell them, they were wonderful. I just, I needed to advocate for myself, and so I did. And this was so much of a better appointment. I was still freaking out, still having the panic attack on the way to the hospital. Also because I don't want to go inpatient. I knew that was coming, and I didn't want to have an IV, and I've just had a really bad attitude because I'm just so weary of this. I just want to be well. I just want to get over this. I hate it. I feel like I was foolish to even have the operation, which is stupid because I needed it to prevent other problems. But I'm just like, so, what if I was just being vain and stupid, and I should have not had the paniculectomy at all, and I should have just had the other procedure for adhesion release that I really needed. And so I was blaming myself and just being mean to myself, and I was really scared, and I don't want to miss any more work. I love my job. I just want to be well. I just want to heal and be well. And honestly, at this point, like, if I still had my belly going down to my knees, I wouldn't even care, because once you take away the belly, then you can see like the tops of your thighs, and they're still terrible. I just don't see it as an improvement, really. I'm just fat in different places now, or loose skin in different places. So hope I'm not babbling, but I just wanted to update everybody. So we agreed that I would go into the hospital and that they were going to culture the wound to be really specific and really targeted, and that I was going to go into the hospital. And so I was checking in at the hospital, like really down, and I got screened for people who are antibiotic intolerant, because I'm allergic to so many different antibiotics and I have really bad reactions to them, and people that have like persistent infections, because this is probably, from everything they tell me, this is probably the same infection from like May, when I just never quite got over it. And so I got screened to see if I qualified for a research study to try alternative therapies, one of which is called a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And you can look that up, but basically it's the same treatment they give people that have altitude sickness, or the bends, which is like from deep sea divers and stuff like that. They get something called the bends. And it's also good for healing wounds, and it's also good for cancer. And so the only reason I hadn't looked into it before is a course of treatment is $30,000. $30,000, because it's they only have it at one place in my city, and it's not my healthcare provider. They'd have to like refer me out, and I just never considered even asking for it. Again, I didn't ask for what I needed. Like, I knew about this therapy. I wanted to try it for my cancer, but I didn't even ask. And so anyway, I qualified for it. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'll tell you how that goes. And it's kind of funny because I guess it makes people feel really, really high. So I have to have a driver, and I have to go every night for like an hour. But I don't have to miss any work, so I'm super glad about that. And I just really feel strongly that it's going to be effective. And then the other thing that they wanted me to do that I'm still thinking about, because I'm having like a moral quandary about it, but is honey therapy, which I know that sounds weird, but there's a special kind of honey called Manuka honey, and it's just really good at healing infections. It's a really ancient kind of medicine. And I actually so I tend to beehive, but I don't ever take the honey. Well, I take the honey to give back to the bees when it's raining or too cold, because they can't fly. And the beehive is on the property between myself and my neighbor, and it didn't have any bees in it when I first moved into my house. It was just an empty beehive. And then one day I discovered that bees had moved into it, which is very unusual for wild bees to do that. And so I learned apiary skills, which is beekeeping, and I've been taking care of the bees. And when the beehive is overflowing with honey, I take it and then I put it away. And then when the bees can't fly, or if for some reason their beehive is running low, like I check on it occasionally, and if it's, if they don't have enough, then I give them back their food. And I have, so you guys know I don't use sugar, and I consider honey to be a kind of sugar. And I also don't, I don't believe in, stealing their honey. Like they have to make like 500 trips to get a teaspoon of honey, and I just feel wrong doing that with so much colony collapse disorder syndrome that a lot of the bees are having. And so I just want to take really good care of my bees. And a lot of commercial honey organizations, like commercial honey harvesters, they take the bees' honey and they just give them sugar water. And just like sugar water is not good for you or me, or they give them high fructose corn syrup. And so that's not good for the bees, and I consider that abusive. And so it's just my way of like trying to take care of the bees. And anyway, so long story long, they think it would be really good for me to use this Manuka honey, but also some of my own local honey, because I feed the bees, and they might have built up a tolerance to some of my antibiotic. Sorry, you guys, it's been a long day. They might have built up antibodies to my particular infection, so it could be especially helpful for me to, ask my bees if I can have a little bit of their honey. And I really don't need much. We're talking a few ounces. But it's hard for me as a vegan to take their honey. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I'm thinking about it. I actually would love some feedback from you guys. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try this other therapy, and I just am hopeful that it will be very effective. I'm really, everybody was so gentle and kind to me today, and it was super helpful. So feeling pretty good. But I haven't been coming on here because honestly my attitude is lousy, and I'm angry and bitter and infected, and I don't feel good, and I don't want to show that side of myself. I want to be happy and upbeat. I want to be my old self, because my old self is happy and upbeat and feels great and is grateful for, this healing diet that we've discovered and all the progress I've made. Like, it almost seems ungrateful to be sad when I've recovered from so many different things, but part of it might be anesthesia, I've heard, and just major surgery I've heard can cause like depression, and so anyway, haven't been doing very good, and I don't want to be that girl. I don't, that's not me. And I just wanted to document, my journey, because I am going to come back. I am going to come back strong. Like, I believe that. I'm healing. I'm eating very healing foods. I'm doing things like other things to, help my immune system. So I'm going to kick this infection, and I'm going to also just, whenever I find myself having depression thoughts or bitter thoughts or self-loathing kind of thoughts, I'm gonna combat that by on deliberately thinking about how grateful I am, for so much and all the good things in the world and how much progress I've made and where I've come from and how that's been able to help other people, which is my absolute intention, is I just want to help other people. Because I know the hell that people go through, and if I can help that, that will make my suffering like worth it. So anyway, I just wanted to update you guys, let you know what's going on with me. Don't have to go in the hospital. Super happy about that. Kind of excited to try this therapy. And yeah, it's gonna be an adventure. I'd love if you guys could weigh in about the honey, because like, you know, I don't know what to do about that. I'm holding off on that for right now while I think about it and pray about it and get people's thoughts about it. So anyway, I do want to say, hey you guys, it's a new year. And last year I did a burning bowl and I got rid of all the stuff I didn't want to carry with me into the future. And then I wrote down, I envisioned like what I really, really want, what would be significant for me. And I wrote it down, and you know what? Most of it came true. Most of it did. So if you look back at my videos from December last year, like I took off 100 pounds after I made all that, did all that vision work and everything. So, you know, and I really hope that you'll consider like writing it down, making some vision boards, doing pictures, you know, cut out things that speak to you or mantras that help you. Little things like I say to myself when I walk, you know, lean, strong, healthy, fit, and I kind of walk to that cadence. Little things like that. Just keep telling yourself that you are your goal weight. Like I say, I am 122 pounds. I am, you know, I have a lot of affirmations. Basically, when I see food that I don't choose to eat anymore, I'll say, that's a time bomb. Thank you, God, that I'm not addicted to that poison anymore. And I say a little prayer for people when I see them eating it, very honestly, because it makes me sad. It makes me sad, like when I see someone smoking, especially if that's a teenager or, you know, anyone. That makes me sad when I have a lot of empathy for those people for being trapped in their hell. And so anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I hope that we can get back to like talking about how to actually control your mind, how to actually control your state, and to be able to see something that you used to be completely compelled to eat and to not have to eat that. How to talk back to yourself and, you know, take control of that part of you that wants what it wants, and it wants it now, and it knows it's bad for you, but it wants it anyway. Am I the only one with that? You know, but I've been able to talk back to her in a loving and kind way. I've been able to talk back to myself and get myself to be looking for my highest good. And that's what I feel like was missing from every diet and exercise book or guru or program was I knew exactly what to do, but I didn't know how to get to myself to do it. And that is what I learned, taking off 300 pounds. So I'm hoping that we can get back to, hey, this is how I did that. You should maybe try this, or this worked for someone that I know, or I read this book and I thought it was awesome. So hope that we can get back to that pretty soon. I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Take care. And remember, today's a good day to have a good day. Like if it's a new year and you're like, wow, I've already blown it and I feel bad about that. Hey, it's still the new year. It's still a clean slate. You sometimes have to fall a couple times when you're learning to walk. You know, even people who have been doing this a really long time or run marathons, sometimes they fall and bust their bums on the way, and you just gotta pick it up. The faster you can get back on track, the less damage you're gonna do. You cannot change the past, but you can get back up as fast as you can and keep moving on. All right, I love you guys, and we'll talk soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.